First of all, I'd just like to thank everyone who sends me links and things. Obviously, not all of them make it into my chats, but those that do are great, and those that don't are still interesting, but that's by the by. So, £500,000 to bong for Brexit. Parliament claims it will cost the ludicrously inflated figure of £500,000 to get Big Ben to chime for Brexit. The bells must ring out across the country instead. Support our church bells for Brexit campaign. 500,000. Imagine how many people you can get off the streets or feed with that. But no, we're going to waste it. Hell. Did you know that one of the people chosen by Boris Johnson to lead the Grenfell inquiry has links to the company who supplied the lethal cladding? Justice. Tory style. Carol Wood's demonstration, Tuesday 21st of January, 12 noon. The Orchard, Pathfinder Drive, Lancaster, Lancashire, LA14JJ. Free Carol Wood, social services whistleblower, sanctioned by mental health fraud at the Orchard, Lancaster. This woman is a hero and everyone should get behind her and get this woman out of the criminal activity that they've been imposed on her. In 1917, faced with major food shortages due to crippling World War I blockade, the government of Denmark essentially put the entire nation on a vegetarian diet. During the next year until the war ended, death and disease fell by 34%. If that don't tell you all you need to know about the food system, then you're not paying attention. Former Leicester MP Keith Vaz voted in to new constituency role. You see, if you're a paedophile, then you carry on just riding the gravy train. Keith Vaz was suspended from the Commons for 6 months following a parliamentary investigation. A former Labour MP who is being investigated by a parliamentary watchdog has been elected as the boss of his former local constituency. Keith Vaz stood down as Leicester East MP after 32 years following his 6-month suspension from the Commons. He was suspended over allegations he expressed willingness to purchase cocaine for male prostitutes. On Tuesday, Mr Vaz was voted in as the new chairman of the Constituency Labour Party CLP in Leicester East. The current MP, Claudia Webb, was not at the meeting. You see, if you're a protected, filthy, dirty bastard, then you just keep getting put back into positions where you shouldn't have been in the first place. Now, you should seriously check this link out. It's in the description, of course. Watch. Drag queen admits he's grooming children at story hour events. We are trying to groom the next generation, he says. Lafayette, Louisiana, November 27th, 2018. Drag queens are deliberately grooming the next generation to accept LGBT, the bullshit alphabet crap, ideology when they read to children in public libraries at drag queen story hour events, a US drag queen admitted. Oh my God, he looks awful in that. Dylan Pontiff, a drag queen who helped organise one of the story hour events for children as young as 3 at the Lafayette Public Library in early October, is shown in a video making the shocking admission to the Lafayette City Parish Council in Louisiana during a September 17th meeting. This is going to be the grooming of the next generation. We are trying to groom the next generation, said Pontiff, who was dressed in drag, goes by the name Santana Pillar Andrews. My God. I mean, some of these women actually look like women, but that just looks like a demon. Pontiff said that as a drag queen, he had performed in shows that for adults that he compared to an R-rated film. He argued that he should be able to have access to children because as an adult he knows how to filter himself and make his content PG rated. Bullshit, it's attacking the children. That's what they've been doing. I can go in and entertain adults in a club and also entertain a group of students and young children. I am able to do that because I am an adult and able to filter myself, he said. This is an attack on humanity. Speaking of attacks on humanity, Rochdale boy left with disabilities after being turned away from 2 hospitals. A little boy who has been left with disabilities after medics missed a blood infection. Harley Holt was just 2 when his mum took him to his GP and 2 different A&E departments in Greater Manchester where she was told he had a virus. One hospital advised her to go away and give him Calpol. It was only when his legs and arms swelled and a rash took over his body that he was finally hospitalised. Harley spent a month in intensive care and his family say that they were told that he wouldn't make it through surgery. A simple routine blood test that wasn't carried out would have highlighted the infection and prevented it from developing into the deadly sepsis. 5G awareness poster banned in the UK because they want us dead. They are planning to kill us, and this is one of the main kill weapons they're using against the general population. This 5G awareness poster by Electrosensitive UK, links it, you can get the links if you want the poster, has been banned by the Ads Council. It is the second poster on the health impact of wireless banned by the Ads Council, despite the hundreds of scientific papers provided by the Ads Council. The ruling of the 5G poster can be found here. In response to the ruling, Electrosensitivity wrote, the ASA requires mainstream majority science, which the poster provided. The ASA's ruling then discounted the majority mainstream viewpoint by adopting a minority view based on unsubstantiated and non-peer-reviewed claims of the small cartel supporting the wireless industry. Read the press release and response to the ASA ruling on January 8, 2020 by ES UK on the information poster asking how safe is 5G, which states the information poster's valid questions, how safe is 5G? The information poster's question, how safe is 5G, is not misleading or unsubstantiated. The CTIA, the Wireless Industry Trade Organisation, has a website section headed Is 5G Safe? These questions are very similar in wording. The 2020 ban was covered by these news outlets. The earlier 2018 ban poster by Electrosensitive UK featuring a cell phone with apps representing health effects stated, worth the risk? It's your call. More and more research is starting to show potential health risks from mobile and cordless phones, Wi-Fi and other electromagnetic fields. Below the text was an image of a mobile phone which displayed a variety of on-screen apps. These apps icons were titled Damaged Immune System, Electrosensitivity Skin Disorder, Cancer Risk Raised, Heart Palpitations, Headaches, Memory Loss, Fatigue, Brain Tumour, Sleep Disorder, Dementia, Tinnitus, MS, Damaged Sperm Count, Depression. The list goes on and on. But 5G's safe if you're the government trying to kill your population. They silenced my daughter. Mom says cops killed her daughter to keep her quiet about the rape. January 15, 2020. Safford, AZ. A mother is speaking out and calling for justice this week, telling anyone who will listen that she doesn't believe the official story from police on how her daughter died in police custody last month. Deborah Sanchez is now claiming police silenced her daughter, Jordan Sims, to keep her from ousting officers who raped and attacked her. They silenced my daughter. They wanted to make sure she never came forward, Sanchez said. Days before police claimed Sims broke free from her shackles and jumped out of the backseat of a police cruiser, which is impossible because you have to let them open the door from the outside. If you've ever been in one, you'll know that. Sims claimed a Safford cop violently raped her. I know 100% she was telling the truth, Sanchez said of her daughter. When you speak to someone who has been violated, trust me, broken is all in their voice. Now Sanchez is fighting to find out the truth of what really happened to her daughter on that fateful day. As TFTP reported at the time, the Graham County Sheriff's Office had one job to do: transport Simmons from their county to Mount Graham Regional Hospital and then back to jail. but instead of arriving safely at the hospital, Sims allegedly removed her handcuffs, opened the door to the police Ford Explorer and jumped out of the vehicle while it was going down the road. That just stinks of bullshit. 5G Global Protest Day, Saturday 25th of January 2020 from 11 till 2. College Green, Bristol, hosted by Bristol residents against 5G technology. Take action, prevent the 5G kill rollout. Elderly people being poisoned by medication, says drug experts. Too little is known about how drugs affect elderly people. House of Lords Committee told. Elderly patients are being poisoned. I'll just read that again to make sure you get that. Elderly patients are being poisoned with medication because too little is known about how different drugs interact with each other and correct dosages for older people, experts have said. Speaker at the House of Lords Science and Technology Committee hearing on healthier living in old age, Samunya Pimohad, the Professor of Molecular and Clinical Pharmacology at Liverpool University, said most of his patients are no more than 10 or often more than 20 drugs. Those drugs are used at conventional doses, and those doses have been tested in younger population who had exclusive criteria for trials. So they have been tested in people who don't have the multiple diseases, he said. So when we use the drug, a dose which is licensed at the moment, we are often poisoning the elderly because of the dosing that we are using. And they know about it, and they've known about it all the time because it's a depopulation weapon again. Man admits to sex with adopted daughters, gets probation. Yeah, a paedophile gets probation because they like paedophiles. Fort Wayne. A Fort Wayne man charged with having sex with his two adopted daughters will avoid prison time following sentencing Friday in Allen County Superior Court. As a part of the plea deal, Stephen R. Wells, 49, admitted to multiple counts of sexual misconduct with a minor, paedophilia basically, in exchange for child molestation charges being dropped. In a written statement obtained by the Department of Child Services in 2016, the older daughter revealed the sexual encounter to a counsellor at a youth opportunity centre in Muncie. I was going to hide it for my whole life and say nothing because I don't want to see my dad go to prison. I told because I am at my breaking point. You see, if you're a paedophile, you walk free. If you steal some food because you're starving, you go to jail. The judicial system is totally and utterly run by paedophiles for paedophiles. That way, they can make sure that if ever they get caught, nothing happens. Mum, who discovered paedophile was living on her street, was told keep it secret by police. Claire Vorin says Sarah's law is failing children after she was made to sign a non-disclosure form. Yes, the police are protecting paedophiles. This was January 17th, 2020. This was today. Now, you may or may not believe this, but there is a paedophile protection unit. The police have their own paedophile protection unit. And when I found out about this, I thought, no way. I was with Mickey Summers and we called the police up, or he called the police up, and asked them whether he was on, this particular copper was on the paedophile protection unit. And he replied, no, I wish I was, I'd be on more money. Yes, there's a paedophile protection unit. That video's on one of my YouTube channels, but there isn't a children's protection unit. Well, protect the paedophiles, the kids there, screw them, they say. A mum who discovered a convicted paedophile had moved onto her street but was told to keep it secret by police, says Sarah's law is failing children. Claire Vorin, a mother of two, who made us to sign a non-disclosure form after discovering her neighbour was a convicted paedophile. Sarah's law, officially known as the Child sex offenders disclosure scheme was introduced following the abduction and murder of Sarah Payne 8 by paedophile Roy Whitting in 2000. It allows anyone to ask the local police force if someone has a record of committing crimes against children. But the law has come with complications and saw Claire taken to court after using the scheme and subsequently outing a paedophile neighbour in 2017. Claire became suspicious of a new neighbour after he knocked on her door and asked if their 8-year-old daughter would like to go berry picking with him. After becoming suspicious, she contacted West Yorkshire Police. What a shock, the Yorkshire Police. Rochdale. And discovered he had previously been jailed for possessing child abuse images. The police are protecting these bastards. The mass dumbing down of humanity is now confirmed by scientists. A Natural News article. Some mainstream media pundits are finally beginning to notice a disturbing trend that we've been warning about here at Natural News for quite some time now. The trend towards dumbness and idiocracy throughout the West. In one recent op-ed published by NBC News, author Evan Horowitz pegs this trend as a widespread IQ decline, indicating that intelligence levels are now trending downwards after many decades of moving upwards. He surmises that the reason for this decline remain largely unknown. We know why. Even though there are actually many elephants in the room that remain untouched within the context of political correctness. Take artificial water fluoridation, for instance. As we reported, scientific research out of Harvard University found that fluoride chemicals in drinking water lower IQ levels in children. But did Horowitz mention fluoride as even just a possible factor in the IQ side? Nope. He similarly had avoided talking about crop chemicals that persist on food, which are also associated with decreasing IQ levels among school children. There's also the great untouchable, vaccinations. No fake news writer or correspondent has thus far indicated a willingness to even suggest that vaccines and the chemicals they contain might be harming children's brains, but the truth is that they are. Back in 2015, Natural News released an extensive compilation of scientific studies and data showing that vaccine chemicals like aluminium, mercury, thimerosal and other chemical adjectives are basically destroying children's brains. But does Horowitz care? Apparently not. How paedophiles were allowed to pick up girls from care homes in plain sight of council staff. Today, a review into child sexual exploitation found social workers knew full well that vulnerable children were being horrifically abused 15 years ago, but it was allowed to continue. When they were finally reopened, the social service record story told the story. For more than 15 years, the harrowing details of child abuse suffering by girls in Manchester council care had lain on file, no real action taking. Yes, a further councils protecting paedophiles. Have we not had enough of these corrupt bastard councils and this corrupt bastard government? One child had begged carers to keep her out of the city, telling them she was too involved with Asian men. A man known by his nickname made her do things she didn't want to do. Social workers recorded how girls were paid for sex, moved from premise to premise. One very young child had told how she had been restrained by a man in his 20s who then seriously assaulted her and committed an extremely serious and distressing sexual act. These accounts and more had been sitting there waiting to be taken seriously since at least 2004. The stories of children as young as 12 being told at the time, but council workers and care home staff working for the city did not protect them. Today's damning report into child sexual exploitation in South Manchester concluded. How much more evidence do you want that all councils are run by paedophiles to protect paedophiles? Immigration officer fired for placing terror of a wife on list. London. An immigration officer was so sick of his wife that he put her on a terrorist watch list so she couldn't go home from Pakistan. The officer added her name to the register of people banned from flights into the UK while she was visiting family overseas. When she went to the airport to get a return flight back, officials told her she could not board the plane and did not explain why. She called her husband, who promised to look into it, but left her stuck in Pakistan for 3 years while he had the time of his life. An immigration source said, a lot of people may dislike their other halves, but to do this is to take it to the next level. Needless to say, she was confused when she got to the airport, as she had never been involved in anything criminal or terrorist related. She obviously thought her husband, being an immigration officer, would be able to find out what was going on. Little did she know it was him who put her on the list. The officer was caught when bosses vetted him after he went up for a promotion. They realised his wife was on the watch list and asked him for an explanation. He had no choice but to confess what he had done and was fired. Orange News. Mirror. Royal showdown today. Harry and Palace clash over money deals. Freedom talks about her new life. Stall on future £1 million contracts. Now this is how you know this is a setup, because I think you'll find it in almost every paper. And up the top there, and on divorce, now I can move on and be happy. Daily Fail. He often told me he wanted to walk away from it all. An intimate portrait of a troubled prince by the Mail's Rebecca English revealed new clue on how little time they'll spend in UK. Harry and Meghan let Frogmore staff go. Like I say, it's in every paper, so that's how you know there's an agenda behind it. Telegraph. Copperfield, I still haven't read it. I don't know what that's about. Dav Patel. Big Ben Brexit bongs row descends into farce. Commons rules that six-figure sum raised by public cannot be spent on celebration. Harry sees the funny side of farewell function. We need laws to ensure there is not another Molly to mourn. We don't need any laws. We've got all the common law we need. Cause no harm, cause no loss. That's the only true rules we need to live by. Chemists should tell shoppers to shape up. You can say what you like, I'll tell you to piss off. Does Russia, new PM, have secret pot passed? Who gives a shit? Banks put the squeeze on business lending. Rejuvenated West End stalwart get top marks from our critics. The scum. Was this Harry's swan song? Unhappy Saudi quits Bake Off. Host desperate to leave for ages. Tension on set as she's hid backstage. I gatto go away. Metro. Game over. Harry on the ball for what could be his last official job as a senior royal. Payback time. Dad of tragic teen backs social media tax to tackle harm. More taxes. No, piss off. We're taxed to beyond death anyway, so this is enough. If you've not had enough of this shitty taxation, they just make up any tax they want whenever they like. It's like Corbyn was going to bring in garden tax. We've had bedroom tax, window tax. This bullshit needs to end, and we need to get rid of those bastards in Parliament who are doing this to us. Express. 50,000 Britons die each year from sepsis. I'm off. Sandy quits Bake Off. Exclusives. Cystic fibrosis scandal. Please don't let my son die. Mum begs for dying drug to save boy 13. Prince Harry has the last laugh. The Times. Anger over witch hunt in hospital. Whistleblower exposed concern at patient death. Managers demand fingerprints from doctors. Big bang bong bung backfires on MPM after 100,000 raised. Pension Commission. Sepsis kills Tim film a year. Oh, 11 million a year. Really? 1 million a year? Hawaii clashes. Russia PM riches. Flyby legal threat. Sarson's warning. The Guardian. Very few beautiful female actors are working after 40. Kathy Bates. For your ears only, how to build a perfect Bond theme. Hypocrisy of betting bosses, millions from care of addicts. Out of 10. Bake Off, Sandy Toksvig quits after 3 years. Grenfell inquiry advisor has cladding firm links. It's a cover-up. Straight from the off, that's what you can tell from that. Aye. Holy smoke, Jude Law on playing the Pope. Tell us your Me Too stories. Government urges public. 12,000 people polled to discover level of sexual harassment at work. Vegan boost as 40% of meat eaters cut back. I'll come back to that. Who's a good boy? Dogs have innate understanding of human gestures. Women more likely than men to eat less. Health benefits is main motivation for change. More than half of under 25 see meat reduction as key to reducing human environment impact. And it's more healthy for you. British public becoming more receptive to flexitarian diet and eventually becoming vegan. Or even just vegetarian, you know. NHS hit by rising cost of PFI hospitals. More bullshit. I'm cancer-free treatment joy for BBC host Deborah James. Stephen Bush. Labour must not fall for a miracle diet. Goodbye alcohol, life on the wagon. Utter waste of paper. Get fit with your dog. Mutt camp. Piss off. Boffins cows talk about the weather. Really? Theo's knickers hit skids. Dragon's Den star firm is under pressure. Financial Times. Putin takes PM. City watchdog set up to drive to wean banks off LIBOR benchmark. Warnings over scandal tainted rate. 2021 deadline looms. Veiled threat for BOE. Berlin agrees 40 billion deal with regions to eliminate use of coal power by 2038. Goldman plays catch up in Wall Street reversal of fortune. And finally, when the drugs hit too hard. Jellyfish have survived 650 million years without a brain. Great news for those that watch Love Island. Hubby gets I love you tattooed on his cock and goes home to show his wife. She says, there you go again, trying to put words in my mouth. Never seen an alligator screaming for help. Still more enjoyable than watching Love Island. Trump. Hey Siri, how many miles did Iran today? Siri. Okay, sending missiles to Iran today. UFO caught on tape.